And in UAE, this is one city, Dubai, right? Dubai. And in Dubai, there are so many buildings, so many homes and apartments, right? And here we have this one apartment here. There's so many stores. And they're thinking, I am the supreme. Although we're so insignificant, although we're so tiny in relationship to the whole universe, we're still thinking, I'm the controller. And sometimes people even meditate like that. They're thinking, I am controlling the sun. I am controlling the moon. And next minute they're saying, give me a cigarette. Or give me a cup of tea. They cannot even control their tongue. But they're thinking they can control the moon or the sun. So this is the foolishness of people who try to pursue that path of meditation. They're thinking themselves to be controllers, but actually they're all controlled. Who is the controller? Krishna. Yes, we say Ishvara Parama Krishna. You know this one? You don't know? Oh, you're all well read. Huh? You know some things from this. So Krishna is the supreme controller. There are many controllers, right? You go to school, the teacher will say, I'm the controller, right? And you go in the office, you go in some company, the boss will say, I'm the controller. And you go at home, the wife will say, I'm the controller. Who's the supreme controller? There's one supreme controller. And that controller over everyone is Lord Sri Krishna. But Lord Sri Krishna likes to enjoy. Like all of us, we all like to enjoy. We don't like to suffer. Why do we like to enjoy? That is the nature of the soul. The soul wants to enjoy. Our spiritual nature is to enjoy. In the spiritual world, you will enjoy eternally. Here in this world, you have to work so hard to enjoy just a little. We have to tolerate so much difficulty, working, difficult conditions, and then you get a break. You can go back to India and you think, oh, you can enjoy for a little while. Then you have to come back and work again, right? So that material world is like that. A lot of work to get a little enjoyment. But in the spiritual world, eternal enjoyment. It's all enjoyment. And Krishna is inviting all of us to go back there. And that's why he comes. And that's why he sends also devotees like Srila Prabhupada. He sends his pure devotees here to guide us and to teach us and to help us out of this ignorance condition. So one of the ways in which Krishna helps us was by performing his Damodar Leela. We've been celebrating this Damodar Leela for 1 month now. Today's the last day of Kartik. So today's the final day in which we offer this worship to Lord Damodar. But it's not the end. It's not that, okay, that now it's finished, I don't have to do it anymore. Rather, we want to think we should do it every day. We should make it a habit to worship Krishna. We want to develop the good habits. We all have habits. We want to cultivate the good habits. And one of the best habits you can have is to worship Lord Krishna. Just like here, you don't have to have an altar like this. You can have a very simple altar. Simply have a picture of Lord Krishna and offer worship. And if you don't like to even have a picture, you can do it in your mind. Even within your mind, you can simply try to worship Krishna. The form of the Lord comes in different ways. You can have Krishna made from wood, just like Jagannath. Jagannath is Darumurti, right? Made out of wood. And then some other deities, like in Mayapur, we have Radha Madhava. They're made from stone, marble. But then we have Panchatattva, and they're made from bronze. And then you can have also a deity made of paint, oils. Some people who worship pictures, beautiful pictures. And other people, they will make the form of Krishna out of jewels. They will simply use jewels to make them. And people will also worship Krishna in their mind. But to worship in the mind is more difficult. That is very difficult. Why? Very hard to control the mind. The mind is restless. More difficult. Even Arjuna said he could not control his mind. And Arjuna was a great devotee. He was a Maharati, and he had a very great birth in the Pandavas, in the Kuru dynasty, and association with Lord Krishna. But still he said, Chanchalahi mana Krishna. My mind is chanchal, restless, more restless than the wind. Just like the wind, you don't get wind here much, here in Dubai, not much. You want wind, go to England. Very cold, nasty wind. But here in Dubai, not much wind at all. But Krishna said, I know it's difficult, but still you can do it. Krishna said, Asamshayam Mahabaho Manu Durni Graham Chalam. And then what does he say? Yes, Abhyas, Abhyas. You all know this word Abhyas, right? Practice, you have to practice. And Vairag, you know that also, detachment. We have to let go of the material to hold on to the spiritual. Now, what is spiritual? What is material? That should be understood. Material means that which is simply for our own sense enjoyment. And spiritual means that which is for the service of Krishna. So just like here, we have an altar for the service of Krishna. We have a home, we're using it for Krishna, inviting so many people to come here. In this way, the home is a spiritual place. It becomes even a holy place by using it for the service of Krishna. So matter can become spirit. You can change the material things into spiritual things. Just like there was one famous sadhu from India. He had a picture taken with money on the table, and he was like this. He was going, I will not touch the money. And people thought, oh, he's a great sadhu. But below the table had a lot. He was pretending, I won't touch the money. All the money was below the table. So, Srila Prabhupada said, we will take the money and use it all for Krishna, to build nice temples and places for Krishna. And those of you who go to our temples, you can see beautiful temples, with beautiful deity worship and prasadam and so many arrangements. How many of you have been to our temple, ISKCON temple in India? Yes, you've all been somewhere, eh? Maybe Mayapur or Vrindavan or Delhi or Madras, Hyderabad, Trivandrum, everywhere now we've got temples in India. I had gone to India 1975. Were you born yet?
No.
You were not even born. Where were you? You were an old man or an old lady somewhere. Yeah, where were you? I was in India preaching. Where were you? Now you've taken this for. You should understand, reincarnation is a fact. It's not a myth. We're all souls living in the body. This body is like the vehicle. One of the devotees, actually it was His Holiness Bhakti Charuswami. Have you heard, do you know him?
Yes.
Yeah, Bhakti Charuswami. And so he had a heart problem one time. He'd gone to a hospital. So his disciples were very worried, you know, he had that temple in Ujjain, and he made a nice temple there in Ujjain. So he'd gone to a hospital to get some treatment for his heart. And when he came back, the disciples, they were all so worried. Oh, Guru Maharaj, we were so worried about you. And he said to them, why are you worried? He said, why are you worried? If you get a new car, do you worry about the old car? Huh? You get the new car. Whoa, very good, yeah? Why worry about the old car? We're happy. The same way, we give up the old body, you get a new body. But of course, you have to think what kind of body you're going to get. If you become a dog in the next life, it's not very good. Right? Prabhupada used to say, dog is running on 4 legs and you're all running on 4 wheels. Business is the same. Where is food? Where is sleep? The dog mentality. So we want to be thoughtful, to think about where are we going in the next life. So this life is an opportunity for us to prepare for the future. Where do you want to go? You want to come back in Dubai? Where? You take birth again in India? Not so bad. India becoming better, more opulent. But still the problems are that you may not get the human body. Now you have a human life. There's no guarantee next life you will again be human. Where do you want to take your birth? Where do you want to be? You have to prepare for the future. So very important to understand the value of association. The Sangha with the devotees, very, very important for us to keep us in consciousness of the goal of life. We have to hear regularly. We have to come to be with the devotees. It helps us to remember Krishna, to bring Krishna into our daily life. If we're just on our own every day, then it's very easy to forget Krishna. And you start to think, oh, now we have G5. Oh, now I can watch so many Netflix and so many things on the. Oh, don't even need to go to cinema. I just have my mobile phone and I can watch movies all day. Oh, Tamil movies, wonderful. Oh, yeah. I know in Malaysia, sometimes I go to Malaysia and preach. So there's a lot of Tamil people there. And every Saturday afternoon, they have Tamil movies on television. So we always know every Saturday afternoon, everyone's at home. And what are they all doing? They're all watching Tamil movies. The movies, yeah, and similarly, of course, you have Bollywood, you know, we spend, but how much time do you spend watching these kind of things? How much time we allow these things to occupy our life? And certainly they influence us. They influence our mind because you're associating with all of these people, all of these movie stars, Bollywood people. Are they pious people? No. Do they have any good habits? No. We have nothing to learn from them. So we have to be very careful to cultivate the good habits. Good habit, chanting. Everyone has a japa bag, japa beads. Yes, good. You have to chant. It's very important, and you have to chant every day. Oh, no day off. Every day I have to chant. I want a day off. You know, you work in a job. When you get a job, you want how many days do I get off? You know. So japa, no days off. Following the principles. Vegetarians every day, right? You know, in Hong Kong, sometimes I would go in Hong Kong and go to meet Indian businessmen, and I ask them, "Are you a vegetarian, my dear Mr. Mushandani or whatever his name is, you know, big Hindi man?" I'd ask them, "Are you the vegetarian?" "Oh, every Thursday, vegetarian." So that is not real vegetarian. Vegetarian is every day. Of course, for some people, one day is better than nothing. And then there was even this one man, the Sindhi community, they have something called, there was a Sadhu Vaswani there. And so he had to think, annual vegetarian, one day in the year, vegetarian. It's just ridiculous. Nonsense. One day in the year to be vegetarian. These are the kind of things we have to preach against. We're trying to bring people back to the real culture. The real culture has been lost, it's been forgotten. People have become so ignorant. They eat everything. They say about Chinese people. Chinese people would eat everything that flies in the sky, anything that swims in the sea, and anything that crawls on the ground. You go to the market, and in China you can see everything. All 8,400,000. They're all there in the market. So we want to understand what is culture. And culture is not something you learn from America. Coca-Cola, McDonald's. That is not culture. That is also ignorance. The real value of life, you have to understand from the Vedic scriptures. We read scriptures, we study books like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. And there we learn about the nature of the absolute truth. There, all of our questions are answered. We find out who I am, why I'm here, where I'm going. So this question, everything is answered there in the scriptures. We have to just be willing to inquire and to hear. Human life is meant for inquiry. The Vedanta Sutra says, Atato Brahma Jignasa. We should know what is the difference between the material and the spiritual. You know, sometimes a person will say, "Oh, I went out with my girlfriend last night. We had a very spiritual evening." You know, what is spiritual and what is material? The spiritual is to be in relationship to Krishna. That is naturally spiritual. So this month we're celebrating, this is the last day. This is also the end of the Chaturmasya, and this is also the final day of the Bhishma Pancha. And this evening is the time when everyone will break their fast and end their vows. People have been doing different vows, some people doing more chanting. We have been doing mainly worshipping. We've been worshipping Damodardesh and offering gilans, right? We're going to offer gilans? Yes. Yes. No. So that's our vow. Today we'll do it, and maybe if you like, you can do it in the evening also, and that's the end of the Damodardesh. And of course, when we offer the lamp, at that time we also, within our heart, we also pray to Lord Krishna that we can develop that attachment for Him and to think of Him more and to remember Him and to remember that He is the Master and we are His tiny servants. This is our position. We may think, oh, to be the servant is not, oh, I'm always the servant, I want to be the Master. But actually there's more pleasure to be the servant than to be the Master. And that is why Krishna came himself as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to be the servant and to show us how to serve Krishna, to show us how to surrender to Krishna by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Simply by chanting the holy name, we can get all perfection. Okay, are there any questions? Anyone want to ask any question? Yes.
When God is so when Mother is told, every week we are chanting Bhagavad Gita. So I told you, you have to chant Hare Krishna mantra. Both are equal. Why have to chant Hare Krishna mantra?
Why have to chant Hare Krishna mantra? Why not just chant?
Every week they are chanting Bhagavad Gita.
Well, they may chant Bhagavad Gita slokas, that's nice, it's Krishna's words, but do they understand the Bhagavad Gita sloka? They may be chanting the Bhagavad Gita sloka. Do they know what Krishna is saying? Can they understand the message of the Bhagavad Gita? If they understood the message of the Bhagavad Gita, then they would chant Hare Krishna. Because the message of the Bhagavad Gita is to chant the glories of the Lord, to chant His names. And Krishna says many times that He can be understood by devotion. And so how, if you have devotion, then you will chant the name of Krishna. You won't just chant Bhagavad Gita. So many people may read Bhagavad Gita or chant Bhagavad Gita. They're not even devotees. They don't even believe in Krishna. And they will talk nonsense about Krishna. There's so many commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. How many people became devotees? So many comments, so many editions of Bhagavad Gita are there. Where are the devotees? No devotees came from all of these commentaries, because all of these people wrote nonsense about the Bhagavad Gita. They didn't know the message of Bhagavad Gita. But when Prabhupada wrote Bhagavad Gita as it is, then people started to become devotees. And then there were Krishna temples. There were no temples of Krishna hardly in the West. Now there are temples. Prabhupada brought Krishna there. Prabhupada taught people to chant Hare Krishna. So we have to tell people the message of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying, surrender to me. If you've surrendered, then you should chant. If you're not chanting, then you've not understood Bhagavad Gita. Just like people may recite the Vedas, simply mouthing the words of the Vedas. Useless. No better. So they read the Bhagavad Gita. So reading is one thing. Better than reading is to discuss and to explain. So you're reading Bhagavad Gita. Tell me, what does Krishna say in the Bhagavad Gita then? You're reading it. Tell me, what's the message? What's Krishna's teaching? Yes? Yes, Praveen? Okay. Prabhu is asking about the Bhisma Panchaka. Bhisma Panchaka is just the last 5 days of this month of Karti. So it said, if you didn't do anything, you didn't make any vows or do anything or follow very strictly during the Chaturmasya, which is 4 months, you didn't do anything there very well, then the last 5 days you can make a special vow during the last 5 days to do more, to make up for what you didn't do over the 4 months. So this Bhisma Panchaka is an opportunity for us to catch up what we didn't do, maybe we fell behind, we didn't keep up our vows. So the last 5 days, it began on the Ekadasi and today's the Purnima. So for the 5 days, some people will do things like His Holiness Jaipataka Swami Maharaj. Every year he would do Bhisma Panchak, and he's in Mayapur usually this time, and he'll be following, he'll just be eating fruits and roots. Just taking fruits and roots. And doing more chanting and hearing. This is the real purpose. Wherever we do some kind of fasting, of course we're fasting every day, fasting from meat, fish and eggs, right? That's compulsory fasting. No meat, fish and eggs fast. And you can do more chanting. And more time to serve Krishna. So Bhisma Panchak is opportunity for us to catch up from what we didn't do in the other 4 months for the 4 months. Just trying to do something at the end to make up for it.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. So my question is my first question is when we interpret fasting, and what is the procedure to break the fast to be finish the fasting? And my second question is what happens to the soul? We were saying in 1975 we were in England preaching, and where did we? So I was just thinking what will happen to the soul as my soul dies? So we are read in the purpose of that the soul will go to the other world. So is it immediately happens or it takes some time for the soul to go to the other world?
So Bhisma Panchak, you want to break your fast, you have to wait for moonrise. When the moon rises, at that time, then you should worship the Lord first, and then you should break your fast. What kind of fasting are you doing?
That's fruits and roots.
Huh?
Fruits and roots.
Fruits and roots.
Yeah.
Okay, so then tonight you can take some grain. Actually, generally the devotee will make some kind of feast, some special feast, just to offer to the Lord, and then take some nice prasadam. That's in the evening after moonrise. And then your other question about the soul at the time of death, how long does it take to get a new body? It's not hard and fast. It will be different for different people. Sometimes, for people more in the mode of goodness, devotees and like that, then it's much more quicker. But for people who are more sinful, then it takes more time. Often the sinful people will be taken to Yamaraj. They'll go to Yamalok and Yamaraj will punish them. They'll get some suffering. The soul goes along with the subtle body. At the time of death, the soul leaves the body, and the subtle body, the mind, also goes with the soul, carries us. So we go to Yamalok, and then if you're punished there, then you come back, then you take a lower form, gradually come up to the human form. So it takes some time. Sometimes people in sinful, they don't get a body, they're in the ghost body or something. But for devotees, usually it's not too much trouble. But quickly they can go and the arrangement will be made for the next life. Garuda Purana says more. You can get a copy of the Garuda Purana, or you can go on the internet and get Garuda Purana has a lot of information about these things, what happens at the time of death, the soul. Srimad Bhagavatam, we're told also about what happens about materialistic people, how they're taken out of the body, and how they go to Yamalo. Descriptions are all there. But that's in the third canto. Third canto, at the end of third canto, chapter 31, 32. You can get information there. Srimad Bhagavatam. Yes?
Many times we do the puja of this body, the soul. We are the summit of Lord. We are hearing that, but I'm not feeling that thing. I'm always feeling like on this body only. I feel everything's also like that. So how can I implement that move that I want to submit to Lord?
By chanting Hare Krishna. Very simple. The more you chant Hare Krishna and the more you engage in devotional service, then that feeling will come. Sometimes we give the example, just like you get hit on the head. You know, some people who get hit on the head, they lose their memory. Your memory all gone. Maybe you're there was one Mataji she was in a bad car crash. So she's in a coma for a long time. When she come back to consciousness, she couldn't remember anything. She couldn't remember even her husband. Husband came before her. She didn't know. So she had to be introduced. This your husband, this your mother, this your father, like that. So it takes some time to get the memory back. And the same way, we are like that. We have forgotten who we are. We've forgotten our spiritual nature. So we come to the temple. We go to the temple, we stand in front of the deities, and we have to be told, you're not the body, you're a soul living in the body. You have to hear. You have to hear again and again. And gradually we start to remember. Because we've lost the memory, we've forgotten our real spiritual identity. So it takes time. We have to be reminded. Devotee association will help you to remember. Every time you come and associate with the devotees, they'll remind you, you're not the body, you're a soul. Just like we go to the temple, we remember, bow down to Krishna. Krishna is the master, I'm his servant. You don't go to temple, you don't associate with the devotees, definitely you'll think you're the body. You look in the mirror and decorate yourself. Right? And then we start to think, yeah, the body, very nice. We have to be careful. So we have to, association, you have to come, you have to hear about Krishna, you have to chant, you have to worship Krishna. Gradually, the memory starts to come. We have to understand, we've been in this world, material world, a very long time. We're very conditioned. So we're really forgetful. We're very forgetful. Our real spiritual identity is covered over. Because many lives we've had in this world. We've taken birth. We're just thinking this life. We're just thinking, oh, I'm 30 years old, or I'm 40 years old, whatever. We're thinking, I'm a woman. We don't know. We don't know our spiritual identity. We identify with this body. So we have to, that is called conditioning. That we're conditioned soul. But we can become liberated souls by Krishna consciousness. You practice chanting Hare Krishna and doing service for Krishna, then that conditioning will all be removed. So it takes time. You have to be patient, and you have to be determined. So that, and Upadesha Rita Rupa Goswami describes things which you have to do to progress. Enthusiasm, patience, and determination. So Prabhupada said, in everything, you need to have these three qualities. Whatever you do, you have to have enthusiasm, you have to be patient, you have to be determined. Yes, Maharaj?
Maharaj, I have a very question which goes on my mind all the time. Because I have seen, I have read of one lecture where devotee asked a question regarding that we have come from Goloka and there are chances that we can fall again. So my question is, if we are, for example, if I am Krishna conscious this life, and ultimately somehow by Krishna's mercy and Prabhupada's mercy, I go back to Goloka, is there a chance that I'll again come back? I'll again fall down into this material world?
Well, Lord Krishna says, one who comes to my abode will never leave. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said, one who comes to my abode will never leave. You never want to go back. Just like, what is it, you're living in Dubai, maybe some people, they never want to go back to India. Sometimes, you know, the children probably, they never want to go back to India, they come to Dubai. So you go to Goloka, you never want to come back to this world. Yeah.
Regarding the same question, like how we were saying that once we go there, we won't return. But what is the reason that we have fallen? We not saying that we are part of us. So and we are with him. So then how come we have again to
Because you were envious of Krishna, because we're all envious of Krishna, and because we're ignorant of our position. So that's why as soon as we become envious of Krishna, because we want to be Krishna, we want to be the Supreme. We don't want to keep Krishna in the center, we want to put our own self in the center. So then we come in the material world. That's how we go. We all have that business. That's why we're all here. Not all here, we're all here.
Is it possible for you to share the past lives if you had with Sri Lanka?
No. No, I don't know. So many things. We should do Damodardesh now. No? Have to leave. Okay. You want to hear, you can go. Many other pastimes I spoke about before. There's some recording. Okay, so Prabhupada ki Jai.
Recording stopped.
Can I leave? That is a bonus.